was a big weekend for a couple of Mesquite ISD varsity football programs, and we have highlights and reaction. Welcome to the pregame show. I'm Ted Madden. West Mesquite got 5 touchdown passes from quarterback Craig Dale in their win over Saginaw Chisholm Trail. Dale completed 16 of 27 passes for 352 yards. Of that 352, wide receiver Gabriel Corona accounted for 224, 64% of all the passing yards in the game. Corona scored 3 touchdowns, including separate 53-yard catches. Javion Jackson had a huge impact too, especially in the second half when the game was still close. He opened the third quarter with a 93-yard kickoff return and then later added a 70-yard touchdown run. He also caught 4 passes for 23 yards. At this point, a year ago, West Mesquite was 0-3 and had scored 52 total points. Now, the Wranglers are 2-1 and they scored 57 in the win over Chisholm Trail alone. 57-36 was the final. Next up for West is a road game at Keller Timber Creek. And don't let their 0-3 record fool you. Their first 3 opponents are a combined 8-1. In the Wranglers' win over Chisholm Trail, TJ Turner also had a big impact, 3 touches for 115 yards and 2 scores. This was the scene in the visitors' locker room at the Gopher Warrior Bowl after Mesquite beat Grand Prairie 21-14 to give DeMarcus Harris his first career win as a head coach. It's always a triumph and a relief to get that first win.
That's about right. That's it. I needed to have that win. We felt like we were doing a lot of stuff right, doing a lot of things right. Kids were working hard, coaches were working hard, so we needed something to validate, all our hard work. Even though, you know that's what you're supposed to do, but that win just stamps everything.
Up next for the Skeeters is a game at the Old Texas Rangers ballpark, which is now sponsored by Choctaw. They'll play the Arlington Colts. In the win over Grand Prairie, Josh Williams recovered a blocked punt in the end zone for a score, and Quinton Evans had an interception in the end zone in the final 2 minutes to seal the victory. Spruce had to forfeit its game against Poteet, and the Pirates have found a replacement opponent. They're going to Odessa Permian to play in iconic Ratliff Stadium. In their win last week over Thomas Jefferson, Joey Shaw had 110 yards and 3 touchdowns. Quarterback Nico Aguilar was 3 for 3 for 63 yards and a score. Mesquite Horn got off to a good start against Arlington Bowie, scoring on their first offensive possession on a 6-yard run by Darius White. White carried the ball only 9 times, but had a big impact, 64 rushing yards and a second touchdown to begin the second half. But the Jaguars lose to Bowie 24-17. Up next for Horn is a trip to Tyler to take on the Lions, who got their first win of the season last week against Nacogdoches. The Jags' Chris Dawn had a big game against Bowie with 110 yards on 4 catches. Justin Underwood also had 4 grabs for 58 yards. North Mesquite is on the road again to play 3-0 Keller, which has 2 shutouts in its first 3 games. The Stallions lost to Lakeview Centennial last week despite 261 passing yards and 3 touchdowns from quarterback Luke Cedar. The Mesquite tennis team is off to a good start with a 5-1 overall record and 3-1 in district. One of those district wins was an epic 5-hour match against Horn, which the Skeeters won 10-9 and came down to the final singles match.
As soon as they did it, they all jumped up, and of course they run and tackle them. It always worries about me because when you see baseball teams run and tackle, this is cement. So yeah, it's like, no, don't get hurt.
That's it for the pregame show. Thank you for supporting Mesquite ISD Athletics, and enjoy your game.